If you thought it was only average players who made nasty plays, then think again. Every now and then, even the best of the best are guilty, and Tom Brady is no exception. The NFL's GOAT made a horrible sliding attempt to trip the ball carrier after a turnover in the third quarter of Monday night's defeat at the hand of the Cowboys. Surprisingly, the play wasn't reported or addressed during the match. However, people on social media noticed and responded. Rightly so. One Twitter user said, "This is a nasty play by Brady. Filthy. Unacceptable. This was the first time Brady had engaged in a dangerous play. About a decade ago, he was fined $10,000 for kicking Ed Reed of the Baltimore Ravens. Since then, Brady has apparently engaged in similar behavior with zero consequences. Fans believe he should be penalized for his most recent infraction, and so does the NFL."
And down inside the 20.
So, what are the consequences of Brady's actions? A hefty fine of $16,000, of course. In a new episode of his Let's Go podcast, the star quarterback addressed the matter. He expressed his disappointment with the $16,000 fine, saying it was punishment for a play that didn't even happen. Brady says, "I went for the tackle with my right shoulder, but missed him. I didn't want to risk my arm sticking out, so I focused on getting him on the floor. I aimed to throw him to the ground, but failed completely. Not once did I strike him. I attempted to trip him up but failed. So please explain to me how it's possible to be penalized for something that never occurred." But what's up with Tom Brady? It now seems like his personal life is negatively affecting his work. Former NFL coach and current ESPN analyst Rex Ryan has stated that Tom Brady's recent struggles on the field may be related to the stress of his recent divorce from Gisele Bündchen. Brady's apparent breakup with Gisele Bündchen has reportedly left him feeling like a shell of himself.
I feel like I'm so driven to succeed in football, and that's taken me away from other important priorities, which are my kids, my wife.
Which has been said to be impacting his play. In 2021, at age 44, Brady set an NFL record with 5,316 passing yards, but his accomplishments this season have been a far cry from that. The quarterback has struggled to find his footing after suffering several key offensive line injuries. Sunday's loss to the winless Carolina Panthers was likely the lowest point of Brady's career with the team since he signed with them in 2020. The Buccaneers played poorly against the Panthers, losing by a score of 21-3. This was their fourth defeat in as many games. They've now scored 21 or fewer points in 5 of their last 7 games. The Athletic reports that in 5 games over the previous 2 seasons, the Buccaneers scored 21 points or less. Therefore, it's reasonable to worry that Brady's performance is suffering due to personal issues or distractions. Disagreements with supermodel Gisele Bündchen have been cited as a source of stress in the life of the 7-time Super Bowl winner. The Buccaneers' recent 21-3 drubbing at the hands of the Panthers, which dropped their record to 3-4, prompted ESPN commentator Rex Ryan to speculate that Brady's upcoming divorce is impacting his play.
Can tell you you're not ready to play. On defense, it's always tackling. If you don't tackle well, that tells me you're not ready to play.
According to Ryan, this team is searching like crazy, as he stated on ESPN's Get Up on Monday morning. At least they're looking in the right places, but Tom Brady is a shadow of his former self. Obviously, his personal life is also a factor. So is it possible that Tom Brady's divorce is really the problem? Is that why his on-field form has dipped so drastically? But wait, could it just be the fact that he's aging and his bones can't perform on the same level the world has known him for? It would interest you to know that only 4 players have ever attempted an NFL throw at age 44 or older. These are Vinny Testaverde, Warren Moon, Steve DeBerg, and George Blanda, and none have come close to Brady's performance. When Blanda resigned at age 48, he was no longer a quarterback, but a full-time kicker. Despite the fact that he's often regarded as the oldest quarterback ever, earlier today, the Indianapolis Colts revealed that they'll be moving on from veteran quarterback Matt Ryan, prompting the fans to declare the Buccaneers old, slow, and unwatchable. Despite this, the Bucs are still the favorites to win the NFC South and make the playoffs. They're currently tied for first place with the Atlanta Falcons, and the next time we see Brady and company in action will be on Thursday Night Football, when they host the Baltimore Ravens at Raymond James Stadium. Let's see if he'll do better on the field this time. What then does Tom Brady's future hold? Well, the legendary quarterback says he'll take his time making a decision so he can weigh all of his possibilities rationally. Nonetheless, a few of the players have a good idea of what he plans to do next. They concluded that Brady was leaving Tampa permanently after their last meeting with him. One of his teammates expressed skepticism, saying, "I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't come back." Another player said he sounded like a person saying goodbye for good. In his last press conference with the media on Monday, Brady also echoed this sentiment. He ended by saying, "I just want to say thank you guys for everything this year," expressing his appreciation for the organization and the regard in which he is held. His words seem like a simple show of appreciation, but for the attentive audience and Tom Brady fans, it was reminiscent of a farewell. Friends and family say Brady plans to go into his decision-making period with an open mind. He plans to take some time off to be with his kids, while he lets his feelings and thoughts settle before weighing his options. While we wait for Brady to give us a heads up on where he'll be playing next season, here are some of his possible options. He could re-sign with the Bucs, though it sounds like that's becoming less likely. He could also just retire at 45 as he had always intended. Let's not forget the 10-year, $375 million contract with Fox waiting for him as well. Joining a new team as a free agent and competing in the upcoming season is also a viable option for the legendary quarterback. The Raiders, 49ers, and Titans are just a few of the clubs that may be interested in signing him.
Brady unloads. Oh, nice catch. Kate Otten goes up and gets it.
After a terrible season for Tampa Bay, which culminated in a humiliating playoff loss, Brady isn't planning to make any rushed decisions. In other news, Buccaneers head coach Todd Bowles dismissed offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich earlier in the week, a move that did not sit well with Brady. How that factors into Brady's final decision to stay or leave is unclear.
Good protection. End of the quarter. Catch is made. Touchdown!
Despite a palpable sense of dissatisfaction with the offense as a whole, Tampa also had problems all over and a terrible offensive line. However, in his final game, Brady completed just 35 of a season-high 66 throws for 351 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception, despite having essentially no running game to rely on. Tom Brady claims that his velocity-based arm strength has not diminished. If Brady chooses not to return to Tampa, the Bucs scenario will change drastically. When his contract expires on March 15, 2022, they not only have a new OC, but they'll also take a $35.1 million cap charge, which is the second largest in NFL history. Not to mention, they'd need a quarterback. It would be less of a financial burden to retire, and Tampa Bay could extend Brady's contract to keep him on the team past June 1st, 2022. For now, the Buccaneers will have to hire a new OC and wait for Brady to make a choice.